What's going on, guys? My name is John and welcome to my NEStalgiaholic show. Recently I did my top 10 cartoon shows from the 1980s. It seemed to be well received. A lot of people had great input as far as what your guys' favorite top 10 80s cartoon shows were. And I decided to do top 10 90s cartoon shows. And it took me a while to think about it because there's so many great cartoon shows from this decade. And so I wanted to share with you guys my top 10. Now, before I get going on this list, I'll start from 10 and work my way up to number 1. Unfortunately, due to copyrights, I'm unable to show you any pictures of the shows or any intros or anything like that. I just don't want YouTube coming after me. But I certainly recommend you guys Google search them. They're great shows. A lot of these are available on DVD today. They're super funny. I've been able to see some of these recently, and the humor still stands up, and the animation is really good in a lot of these, in many cases. So I recommend you guys check out these lists. Please post a video response, your own list as well. I realize that your list may be entirely different than mine, which is great. We all have our different, unique lists. So without any further ado, let me start with number 10. Number 10 on my list is a show that's kind of controversial. Aired on Nickelodeon. It was on the Nicktoons block that they had, which included also Doug and Rugrats, among others. And it's called Ren and Stimpy. It aired between 1991 and 1996. Only 52 episodes were produced. What I really liked about Ren and Stimpy, and especially watching them back recently, is a lot of the adult humor. I didn't really necessarily catch that when I was younger, but watching it now as an adult, you realize how controversial it was for Nickelodeon to play Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was very popular. They made games for it, comics, I believe, as well. And Ren, I believe, is a Chihuahua, and I believe Stimpy is a cat. But the animation's really cool, and just a great show overall. So number 10 is Ren and Stimpy. Number 9 on my list is a show that was produced by Steven Spielberg. It is aired on, initially I believe it aired on Fox Kids, and then it moved over to the Warner Brother Network. And it aired between 1993 and 1998, and it's called Animaniacs. It's a lot of slapstick humor. Just the intro song itself is very catchy. This is the Animaniacs, and it's just a great show altogether. Really funny. I mean, they're the 90s. Keep in mind, Warner Brothers and Disney's, in my personal opinion, were really at the peak as far as just had some great shows that they were producing back and forth. So number 9 on my list is Animaniacs. Of course, Warner Brothers had some great animated shows in the 1990s, but Disney also, as I mentioned before, had some great ones. And one of those was during the Disney afternoon. It's called Talespin. Surprisingly, only aired for one season, or at least they produced shows for one season. There's 65 episodes in one season, which is a huge one, and they kept repeating it. And Talespin, to me, is a great cartoon show. It's loosely based on some characters from The Jungle Book, which was a cartoon movie from Disney in the 1960s. You had Baloo the bear, and there's King Louie. Louie was in there as well. And Baloo is a pilot, and it's kind of a pun. Tailspin is a play on words as far as a maneuver, the pilot maneuver. But super great show. I really enjoyed it. Number 7 on my list was a show that was aired from 1990 through 1998, 81 episodes in total, so a little over 10 episodes a season. And it was produced by Howie Mandel. In fact, he voiced some of the characters as well. That's called Bobby's World. Bobby's World, to me, it was really fun and creative. I remember, I believe it was on Fox Kids is what it aired on in the morning, Saturday mornings. And in the beginning and the end of the show, they'd have a live action segment with Howie Mandel, and even Bobby would sometimes come to the scene, and Howie would basically address the audience. And during the episode, Bobby had this creative imagination, and that's what I loved about the show. So there was a video game produced for the Super Nintendo by Bobby's World, and a super fun show, and that is Bobby's World. That is number 7 on my list. Number 6 on my list is another cartoon show from the Disney afternoon. That is Darkwing Duck. It's the only spin-off from Talespin. The main character's name is Drake Mallard, which is a kind of a pun and play on words on a character from The Shadow, which is his name is Kent Allard. In addition, Launchpad McQuack, who was a big character in Talespin, moved over to Darkwing Duck and had a role in Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck was kind of it's a superhero type of adventure, definitely a lot more unique than a lot of the other Disney cartoons that they had during the Disney afternoon. So I really enjoyed Darkwing Duck. There's a number of video games that were produced, there's comic books, etc. Darkwing Duck is definitely worth checking out. Number 5 on my list is a cartoon show that aired on MTV. It was produced by Mike Judge, and he later on produced King of the Hill and some other shows, and this particular show is called Beavis and Butthead. 22 episodes were produced in total. Super controversial. They actually had to put a warning at the beginning of each show. It features Beavis and, of course, Butthead, and they're kind of stupid. There was actually a movie, full action movie that they did, full on production movie that they also produced. Video games, among other things. They tried to revive Beavis and Butthead in 2011, I believe, for a while. Unfortunately, with the time block, it was difficult. It didn't do very well. So it's kind of in limbo as far as if it's coming back or not. But what I really liked about Beavis and Butthead was just not only the stupid humor, of course, but they'd like watch music videos and they would just like rip it to shreds, which is hilarious with their humor and stuff like that. So all I gotta say about Beavis and Butthead was, it was cool. Yeah, cool. And there was a spinoff though called Daria, which is another cartoon show in the 90s, which was produced by Mike Judge, but he never actually did any of the drawing or anything like that, but he produced it, and that was called Daria. Pretty good show in itself, but the one for sure worth checking out is Beavis and Butthead. Number 4 on my list is another Warner Brothers cartoon show, and it aired during the Animaniacs, and it went from 1990 through 1995. It's called Tiny Toon Adventures, and it's taking place in Acme Acres, and there is a Acme University, where these smaller, younger characters were going to school, and it's a whole bunch of slapstick. It's very similar to the old school humor and animation to like the old school Warner Brothers cartoons with Bugs Bunny and all that good stuff. So Tiny Toon Adventures is certainly classic. Now I'm getting to the top 3 cartoon shows of the 1990s, and really could go either way. Any of these 3 could be top number 1. Seriously, it was hard to pick. So I'll start number 3. This show aired on Warner Brothers 1992, 1995, and I remember waking up, watching this Saturday mornings. I love the animation, and that is, of course, Batman, the animated series. Seriously, some of the best animation in the 90s. Not only that, but the story. It was a story-driven show, a lot of action, a lot of drama. It introduced characters that are still popular in the Batman universe today, including Harley Quinn. She was produced and created just for the animated series. There's been other movies that have been full action movies that have spun off from this cartoon show, as well as other Batman animated series since this one. But this is the original that really started it all. And what I really love about Batman the Animated Series was Mark Hamill, who's probably best known for playing Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. He did the voice of Joker. He's done the voice of Joker since the show. He's done the voice of Joker in Batman Arkham City and some other games, and he does a fantastic job. Seriously, if you like Batman and you've never seen the animated series, definitely check it out. Number 2 on my list, I believe, was on Fox Saturday morning. I might be wrong on that, but I want to say it was on Fox. And it aired from 1992 through 1997, and there were 76 episodes. It's called X-Men, the animated series, and it's based on the comic strip by Marvel. But the animation in this is awesome. It follows the comics really well. It really got me into collecting X-Men playing cards and all that good stuff. Got me into the comics itself growing up. So I really appreciate X-Men, the animated series. Really, really entertaining show. Number 1 on my list. Any guesses what number 1 on my list could be? Well, let me just give you some hints before I tell you. It's a show that started in 1989. It's still on today. It's lasted 24 seasons. There's been 527 episodes produced. And some people may argue that the show has kind of gone downhill, maybe as of last 10 years or so. But I will argue otherwise, and that is The Simpsons. The Simpsons, to me, is one thing I really appreciate about The Simpsons is the humor and the writing is modern to what is going on at the time. So it's Sunday night rather. I watch it with my wife even today. Still super funny. It's crazy. It's been going on for 24 seasons. I think they're going to make about 25 or 26 or whatever, a couple more anyway. And I really hope so, because it's been a part of my life since I can really remember, since I was 8 years old, which is crazy. And the fact that it's still going on, it's still modern. And you love the intro where, the couch gag, where everything's different. Every time the couch gag is different, which is incredible. So, gotta love The Simpsons. That's my number 1. Guys, what is your top 10? Please leave a comment below. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it as always. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.